Fala turma, tudo certo? Hoje a gente vai reagir a um vídeo da DJ Mag que se chama How I Play Live e eles chamaram Rüfüs Du Sol pra mostrar um pouco do que eles usam, como é que eles fazem ali no ao vivo, então vamos dar uma sacada aqui.
I'm James, 1/3 of Rüfüs Du Sol, and
Esse
I play
bater é
drums in
craque,
the live
velho.
show and
Toca
also do some
muito.
sequencing, effectsy stuff. And yeah, this is the station, I guess. It's kind of been a trial and error process over the last kind of 9 years of us playing.
Pô, muito foda, velho. Inclusive, essa bateria que ele usa, da Alessis, é igualzinha a minha. Eu tenho uma igualzinha que eu uso no show. E aí é muito bom, velho, pra fazer uma apresentação ao vivo, né? Você pode colocar vários samples nesses pads. Pode ter várias páginas de sample e tudo mais. Então, é massa, velho. Eu consigo tocar guitarra, tocar synth, e aí percussão também. Então, colocar qualquer coisa. Aí é muito massa, velho.
Initially, it was just, combining the live kit that we have here and just an SPD. We will have some stuff that we leave in track, in the drum track, specific clap sounds.
Agora é muita coisa, viu, velho? Os caras levam
idiosyncratic knocks and stuff. But for the most part, I'll play as much as I can possibly. So using the SPD, we can sample some of those sounds from the record. And then only a year ago did I kind of have this idea. I thought it'd be really cool to be able to sequence stuff alongside, me playing, and I guess affect it and, sort of each night from night to night, make it really obvious by, inputting. So basically I have this Elise's sample pad, so I can input sounds that are, it's actually triggering this Electron analog rhythm drum machine.
Muito foda, velho.
And that just felt like a way to keep it interesting, because essentially already, because we're playing live, it feels like from night to night it's something, it's going to be a slightly different iteration of the live show, and it's just felt like another extension to keep it interesting for myself. So essentially I can, this is basically the sounds we have in a song called Treat You Better. So I can record in a and then it's kind of in the loop, and then you can send it through this chaos pad, so I can
E aí as possibilidades são infinitas, velho. Impressionante. O cara pode fazer um monte de coisa.
etc.
Eu acho foda, velho, setup assim.
It can be a slightly different pattern, and
Mas, porra, não tem como, mano. Tipo, a logística de todos esses equipamentos. Eu já acho que o Sage leva muita coisa, né? Porque a gente leva computador, placa de áudio, bateria eletrônica, PC40, controladora para os efeitos da voz, microfone, aí headphone, suporte pros... Tipo, já é muita coisa, velho. E os caras levam muito mais ainda, assim. Tipo, óbvio que os caras são gigantes, né? Tem equipe e tudo mais. Mas, porra, tem que também gostar muito, assim, velho. É foda.
We definitely also like the idea that things can be very visually obvious to the audience, so it's not too knob twiddly, shoegazy, so that's why I felt like it was important that it's input via, something tactile, like playing with a stick. From night to night, I will improvise and sort of feel it out, add a little extra flair or something. And yeah, I don't know, so it keeps it interesting for me. And there's also the risk that I might, screw it up or whatever, which I think it keeps it a little bit more exciting.
É legal, né, velho? Tipo, ele fala que também não é só interessante pro público, né? Pro áudio ali, pro som que vai sair, mas interessante pra ele também, né, velho? O cara se divertir ali e tal, então isso conta muito.
And in general, I think that's a good thing about our live show. It's felt like that we put a bit of risk on ourselves to play as much as we possibly can. This is a receiving clock from Ableton, so then everything can be synced, and we'll use that to sequence other things as well across all the 3 stations. But this is very heavily reliant on that. It's just pure acoustic drums, and then we have a really amazing front of house engineer that we tour with, who over the years has dialed in a way to using just his chain and his compression, the sound of the live drums, to gel them with the sound of some of the core electronic drums from the record, and especially the way he's blending the acoustic kick and also the process kick. So we have process kick going, so it means I have to play extremely tight. It's unforgiving sometimes. This is kind of the some of the specific samples and drum sounds from the record that it feels like it'd be more exciting for me to play it live as opposed to just have it in track. So then
Um groove da porra, né? Cara foda.
Sort of thing, so then I can, I'm like playing the hat off the SPD and then, yeah, so, and that's just, again, a much more tactile way of playing the sounds, and it's very visually obvious, and it looks like, you know, at the end of the day, we're a band, so we want to play as much as we possibly can. The other thing that I find is really interesting is I have this really great Strymon timeline delay pedal, so I'll, in between songs or even during songs, I'll, you know, set up like weird feedback loops. And then that's just a way to add color. And even during songs I can...
Muito foda ter esses knobs
like,
pra controlar, né, esses parâmetros. Foda.
So then I can sort of like just improvise little delayed add-ons during the show, and it keeps it interesting for me, I guess. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also I have this seat which basically has a sub thumper in it, so every time I hit the kick, it like, so I don't need a sub. It's like, it can be invasive sometimes, but for the most part, it's like, it definitely removes the need for me to have like an actual full sub here, and it acoustically it's much cleaner because then it doesn't bleed into the microphones and everything. So yeah.
I sing and play various synths. My setup's quite simple comparative to the guys. Because I'm singing quite a lot, like I think we all just agreed that me playing the parts is enough, and then I just use the effects within each synth, which is like a nice limitation, I think. And then my pedals here are just, these are for cutoff for both synths, and then sustain. And then I just have a guitar running through here. We don't play a whole lot of guitar in all of our songs, but it's in 2 or 3. It's a really simple setup. We don't have like an amp or anything, so we use the Sans amp, which gives it just a nice subtle amount of drive. I think it sounds good. We have MIDI getting sent if I can't play it, or if it's too on the grid, say it's an arpeggiator or something, then we send it. But for the most part, I'm playing any of the parts that I can play. We chose these particular synths because they were the synths. Well, actually, the Prophet 6 was the synth that we used pretty much mostly on the most recent record, on Solace. So a lot of the sounds were already on there. Anything that we'd made while we were recording, we would save them, and it'd be in the ballpark of things that we like. And while we were recording, we would try and write down the sound like in the track that we would record, so we could come back to it at some point. But there were some that disappeared and we had to recreate some. But yeah, essentially we have MIDI getting sent to do program changes as well. So if there's quick program changes, say in the middle of a song where I have to go from, one patch to another patch, it'll do it in sort of half a second. And I won't have to actually do any of that. So we decided on the Prophet X basically because of the sampling brain in there. I think we intended on using it a lot more basically, but the actual sound of this machine and the samples that were already in its own sort of database, we could kind of flesh out and make things that were close enough to the sounds that we wanted that it was okay.
Hey, I'm Jon. In the band, I guess all 3 of us produce pretty evenly in the studio, but when we're on stage, I play the keys, and I've got an SPDSX set up.
Todo mundo tem coisa pra caramba, velho. Impressionante, mano.
Percussion, I also play a bit of ride.
E eu já fico meio noiado com manutenção, com cabo, soundcheck, ver se tudo vai funcionar direitinho e tal. Então, caralho, velho, o cuidado com o setup desses caras meio que triplica, assim, velho. Porque quantidade de pedalzinho, de controladorazinha, de não sei o que, tal, de cabo.
But the rest of it, we have program changes coming in to change everything. Like Gobby can be playing like one like verse patch, and then it'll switch straight over and change the sound to my chorus patch, which helps. is like a good example of on the SPSX, so it's nice and visual. And then I'm able to play with my right hand this bit. And then up the glide and stuff as well.
Cheio, né, esse timbre aí.
And then I also have the chaos pad here, which allows me to do little effects in between. And then all of this stuff is also being sent to this Red Panda little sum mixer. And then I can send like the PDSX
Tá doido, mano. É muita
into
coisa,
this
velho.
like long delay. And it's got a compressor, the delay, and then this dream sequencer loop pedal, but it's not working at the moment. But that was supposed to be a bit more fun as well for me, just to mess around with stuff. So yeah, if I send any of this stuff, and then send it to this guy, yeah, I can mess around with that.
I'm Stefan and I am the playback tech on this tour. These laptops are running exactly the
Uma
same
fera.
section.
A grande fera tá aí, ó.
Motu ultralights. It's all fairly simple basic gear that we're running here, but each of them goes into a radial SW8, which you can't see, it's around the back. And that's then linked to another 2-channel switcher. So essentially, I've got a switch here. So if one of the computers goes down, I can switch immediately to the other one.
Isso é absurdo, né, velho? Que os caras têm... Quando o artista é muito grande, assim, né? Eles têm uma equipe também absurda e vários backups. Por exemplo, até esse negócio do computador que ele falou, né? Porra, se um computador que falhar, já vai pro outro instantaneamente, na hora. Então, praticamente os caras não têm essa margem de erro, assim, né? De, tipo, acontecer alguma falha no palco e prejudicar o resto do show, né?
Which also then switches MIDI going to the stage, because it's one of these things where the playback component of this show is fairly minimal, and so if stuff on stage starts to lose clock or whatever, you know, if Jimbo's doing something on his analog rhythm and he loses clock and then things stop and all that, so it's got like imperative that these things can switch over like immediately. We've got a MIDI splitter that's sending MIDI from the Akai MPD 226, and using this really cool little piece of software, which is a Max MSP patch by these guys called Strange Electronic. So it sort of allows you to see all of the every single marker in the set, and then from them you can sort of select which song it is. So we can kind of save things that, so I've got a star next to everything that's current, but say the guys want to go back and be like, oh, if we did that version of, you know, Underwater where we had the extended thing or whatever, then we can quite easily find those things and bring them up, which, you know, sometimes with these festival sets, you've got an odd length sort of time slot and you've got to figure out how to fit into that well. Yeah, so this is a really cool bit of kit. So now it just means that essentially it comes up on both computers. I usually have them so you can see the thing. We just got to make sure that the set list is the same, and then yeah, just kind of ups and downs to select the song. You press play, and it's kind of foolproof, because in the past you'd sort of use one of these sorts of triggers with a button for each song. I've definitely had that where, you know, someone, particularly in smaller venues, some drunk punter touches something and it triggers the wrong song, and then yeah, it's all in arrangement view. Yeah, so you'll see. I mean, look, this session is enormous. You'll see all of those different things there. But, you know, the laptops run it well. Cassian, who mixed the record, has also mixed all of the playback stuff here, so it basically should be coming out of here sounding ready to go for the monitor guy and the front of house guy, so they get that and they just sort of set the faders at 0 and go.
Absurdo, né? Ver a quantidade de coisas que os caras levam, todos os detalhes do show. Os caras realmente são foda, né? Comenta aí o que é que tu achou, enfim, se tu toca também, se tu é artista, diz o que é que tu usa aí nos comentários pra gente trocar essa ideia. E valeu, turma, até a próxima.